And I think we'll get started here, and if people continue to join, that'll be great. But welcome everybody, and as I mentioned at the beginning, thanks for joining us for our first Ohio Sense of Place, where we will focus on College Green. My name is Nico Karagosian. I have the honor and privilege of serving as the Vice President for University Advancement and the CEO of the Ohio University Foundation. I've been with the university for about 2.5 years now, and absolutely love the university, love Athens. My family and I couldn't be happier here, and really thrilled to be able to spend some time with you today, as well as with some of our panelists who I will introduce here shortly. But thank you again for joining us. This is obviously our first time doing something like this, and you know, in this new normal that we all live in, we wanted to make sure that we were giving people an opportunity to continue to feel the magic that's around Ohio University. And we think this sense of place and focusing on College Green, which I know is probably near and dear to many of you, and even myself after 2.5 years, it's an important part of my everyday when we're on a regular schedule going to campus. So thank you again for joining us. So I would like to welcome our panelists today. We have some great dedicated Bobcats, and really thrilled to be able to get their thoughts and share some time with them today. Dr. Sandy Sook, down in Flower Mound, Texas, which is outside of Dallas. Two-time Bobcat, also earned her doctorate at Texas Women's College. Just a dedicated friend, alum, benefactor, partner, volunteer, really just an incredible Bobcat all around. Thrilled to have her with us, so welcome, Sandy. And then Justin Kelley, who is a current Bobcat from Liberty Township, Ohio. He's currently one of our student trustees and also a member of the Presidential Leadership Society. Welcome, Justin. Look forward to talking to you in a little bit. And then Dr. Nellis, the 21st president of Ohio University, and just an incredible person to work with and work for. Just the passion for Ohio University that he has every single day is something that's contagious, and really one of the main reasons that I came here was Dr. Nellis's passion for this university. So thrilled to have you with us as well, Dr. Nellis. So I'm glad everyone's able to tune in with us today, and we do have the chat available, so please take advantage. If you have any specific questions or comments, you want to share pictures, your own memories, put those in the chat. And if the questions, John Rogers is helping moderate this for us, is going to help relay some of those questions to me that I can, there's John, hi John, that I can then ask moving forward. I do want, in addition to John Rogers, thank Jackie Weber and Barb Fiocchi from our donor engagement team, who've helped put this together, really helped conceptualize this idea and bring us all together today. So thank you, John, Jackie, and Barb. You guys did a great job, and really appreciate it. So I now invite you all to join me for a stroll across College Green. We have an incredible 4.5-minute video here that we're going to put up and share with you. So John is going to cue that up, and then we'll be back in 4.5 minutes.
At the corner of Court and Union Streets in Athens stands the Alumni Gateway. For generations, these iconic arches have connected Ohio University to the city of Athens and welcomed thousands to College Green. As a greeting to those entering campus, the gateway reads, "So enter that daily thou mayest grow in knowledge, wisdom, and love." Crossing this threshold, you see how Ohio University has embodied these values since 1804. The red brick walkways map a history of learning. These soaring trees have stood witness to visits from influential leaders and celebrations in the past 100 years. The Green's extensive history all began in 1808 with the construction of the Athens Academy building, Ohio's very first classroom. The 2-story brick building is no longer standing, but a sundial behind Galbraith Chapel marks the spot where learning first took place on College Green. In 1818, Cutler Hall was built on College Green. This marks a key point in U.S. history, as this was the first higher education building in the Northwest Territory. Over the years, the college edifice, as it was first called, has served as a dormitory, classroom building, laboratory, and library. Renamed Cutler Hall in 1914, the building houses the president's office, where each president has met with countless students, national figures, and industry leaders over the decades. buildings. These historic buildings are surrounded by more than 115 different species of trees. We have President McGuffey to thank for starting the tradition of planting trees on campus in 1843. As illustrated by a Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The Green continues to serve as a meeting place for students, faculty, and community members to have important conversations and share diverse ideas. From one-on-one interactions to large rallies, College Green is Ohio's proverbial town square for these critical discussions. This was demonstrated in 1959 when Martin Luther King Jr. visited campus to speak at the 18th Ecumenical Student Conference on the Christian World Mission, an international church collegiate youth conference. Over 3,600 college students from 100 nations came to Athens, Ohio, to discuss the themes of racial tensions and technological upheaval. In 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson came to Ohio University to unveil his War on Poverty plan. Crowds gathered in front of Templeton Blackburn Alumni Memorial Auditorium's West Portico to witness this historic visit, the first by a sitting U.S. president. College Green also has traditionally served as a natural rallying point for students responding to world events. During the late 1960s, students banded together on the Green to protest U.S. involvement in Vietnam, voice support for women's rights, and many other causes. Today, College Green honors this history and other important historical moments. For instance, September 11th is commemorated each year with American flags placed on the lawn to honor those lives lost. An annual highlight is the celebration of Ohio's diversity during International Week. This week-long celebration of global diversity sees flags from all over the world line the walkways on College Green. In 2012, then-President Barack Obama was met by more than 14,000 community members who gathered to witness his historic visit. These trees and buildings have been the backdrop for many more pivotal moments throughout Ohio history, from commencements, which were held on the Green for years, to pep rallies that continue today each homecoming, to the occasional nuptials celebrated in Galbraith Chapel. College Green evokes many positive memories. What memories does it spark for you? Each of these moments, and countless others, demonstrate Ohio University's deep history of sharing in wisdom, knowledge, and love. Among them all, there College Green sits, a seemingly unchanging scene connecting all Bobcats throughout the generations. Much more than a convenient campus pathway, the Green continues to unite the diverse elements of Ohio University, its students, faculty, and surrounding community, all joined together in this remarkable place. Fittingly, the Alumni Gateway leaves us with a reminder of the responsibility that all those who have gained from their Ohio experience seek to fulfill. So depart that daily thou mayest better serve thy fellowmen, thy country, and thy God.
That was wonderful. John, thank you for sharing that. Hopefully everybody was able to view and enjoy that. I apologize about the audio in the beginning, but John managed to fix it. Thank you, John. And I hope that brought back a lot of memories for you that are joining us today. I saw there's some comments in the chat. Keep those coming. Those are great to see and great to read. I do want to thank Colin Black, who's a student employee in our UCM, University Communications and Marketing, for shooting some of the footage in that video, as well as another student, Megan Rose, who's a sophomore in our Integrated Social Studies Education Program. She served as the voiceover. So thank you, Megan. Thank you, Colin, for doing that. Really wonderful job, and to do it in these circumstances from home and being able to come to campus and do some shots for us. We really appreciate it. So thank you so much. So I thought we might take a few minutes here to bring in our panelists and have them share some experiences with College Green, both now and or in the past as a student. Any experiences that come to mind and that College Green brings back to them. So I'm going to start with Sandy. I'd love to hear kind of your perspective on the video, as well as the memories that were brought back during your time here as a Bobcat on College Green.
Sure. The video evoked memories, but the video also evoked a sense of being part of something greater than just who we are today. Remembering our history, that went back so long ago and all the important things on campus. As a Bobcat, it makes you feel like you're part of all those important things, and it challenges you to continue to do great things and use the wonderful education that we received at Ohio. So that was a really neat thing, to feel that sense of belonging, a sense of pride, and a sense of motivation. For a personal memory, as many of you know, my husband, we met there our freshman year when we were 19, and our first date was to Memod to see the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. And he found out that I was from Pittsburgh, so he thought that that might be a good incentive to get me to go out with him, and indeed it was. I just remember telling my roommates, don't tell him I didn't have a date Friday night. Tell him I canceled that date just to go see the orchestra. But he might be hearing a long-kept secret. So we had a wonderful time there. And then we were going off campus in a car, which was a big deal to me. I hadn't been off campus for a long time. I didn't have a car. And as we were walking to what I thought was to get to his car, he took me to the Kissing Circle, the place in the College Green where the roads cross. And I got my first kiss from him there. So it was kind of a tradition through the years as we went by there to kiss. And I always remember if we were on good terms, it was a great kiss. If we weren't, we still did a perfunctory kiss. But that's very smooth of him as a 19-year-old to manage to take you by the Kissing Circle every single time. So that's good thinking. I'll have to probably why it's such a great marriage. I'll have to remember that when I'm walking in College Green with my wife. So thank you for sharing that story. Awesome. So can you also maybe, Sandy, anything as far as like an influential faculty member that during your time here that maybe the video or just thinking back, on campus, made you think of? Actually, I have an influential faculty member, Dr. Ray Skinner. Although his office was in Jefferson down the hill from the College Green, he and his wife, who was a teacher at Athens High, got married when we went back to visit at the chapel there. So I can't help but think my cheeks still hurt. I was smiling and was so happy at that event, being there and as having started a young love, and then them already having been successful and him being on campus already, falling in love with Marilyn. That was a great wedding and another great event that happened at the College Green. So that was really, really a wonderful memory. And also my nephew went to school there 40 years after Perry and I. And I told him that I was doing this seminar. And he said, oh, Aunt Sandy, I was in Cutler Hall all the time. And we would just run over there so we could be in the trees, and we would study our Shakespeare, and we would do homework. And I love that memory. And it made me really happy because he'd never told me that before. And I said, we were one door down, one door closer to College Green at RTV, and we did the same thing at lunchtime. So 40 years later,
the same thing.
Yeah, the difference was the bagel buggy compared to the burrito buggy. I think that was the small change.
That was the difference. The bagel buggy was there. The bagel buggy was there when you were there, right?
Yes, indeed it was.
And from what I understand, the bagels were $1. Is that correct? The bagels, no matter what, in the bagel book.
Perry was so smooth; he paid for it. I couldn't even tell.
He paid for it as well. You couldn't even tell us. Well, thank you so much for sharing those experiences, Sandy. We really appreciate it. Some great stories that we'll have to remember. So thank you very, very much. Justin, I'm gonna bring it over to you. It's obviously a extremely unique time to be a Bobcat student right now, and obviously what we've experienced as a university, as a state, as a nation, as a world here over the last several months has been, unprecedented isn't even the strong enough word anymore, but really would love to kind of hear about your experiences, these last couple months being a student and being so involved with the university and just what life has been like for you here since this all hit us in March.
Yeah, thanks, Nico. I appreciate it. And thanks everyone for tuning in today. I really appreciate you all kind of taking an invested interest in Ohio University and invested interest into the students. So, but Nico, thank you for that question. And I really want to talk a little bit about how when we had to shut down and we had to go online, how we as students in Athens, so at the time I was actually in Athens, and I'm actually currently in Athens as well, in my house off campus, but how we always use College Green as the one space that we can go to still connect, to do homework with each other, to have lunch. And Sandy, I know you mentioned the bagel buggy, and I'm like thinking like, man, I wish I was still there today, but like burrito buggy, right? How whenever, we go to lunch, we would say, hey, let's get burrito buggy and let's just go hang out on College Green. And so during some of that traumatic time, especially at the beginning when we weren't sure, we were still trying to social distance, we were wearing masks, but we still were able to use College Green as a space to go to hang out at, just like it would be during normal times. Now, maybe it wouldn't be as crowded, but you still saw people hammocking in the trees, people just hanging out on the green eating lunch or doing homework, hanging on their laptop. So that's been really awesome. And then one of the things, too, that I think is really cool, especially after watching that video, I lived in Johnson and Reed Hall on East Green my freshman and sophomore year. So I'd always have to go up Jeff Hill or go up the stairs behind Bryan Hall and go across College Green. And every time I looked at it, I just remembered all of the history and all the people that have walked these bricks before me, and being very grateful and also understanding the things that have happened that have been awesome for this campus and awesome for this community. So I think, like, for example, you mentioned like student trustee, like I'm a student trustee, and I remember the night that I found out I was student trustee, walking across College Green and just to get back to my dorm and just thinking about all the history and all the people that were there before me, and being really grateful for the opportunity and grateful for everyone that came before me. So that's some of the awesome experiences that I've had and some of the memories that I've had. And then with that too, like I am in a social fraternity, and one of the coolest things about that is we actually, like every organization has a ritual or initiation or something they do. Ours is actually a Galbraith chapel. And that's really awesome to be able to go there and just think about the hundreds of years. And, Sandy, you mentioning people, getting married there. And I just think of like all the people that can be connected to Galbraith Chapel, and like going to, when we do the Martin Luther King March, like going to that chapel and listening and hearing those people speak. And it's really awesome that all the history that is a part of, that I feel a part of because of all of you. So that's just been kind of my experience, and with College Green, it's just been really awesome.
That's great, Justin. Thanks for sharing that. You mentioned being a student trustee. You're also a presidential leader, and when Dr. Nellis started almost 3 years ago, he established the presidential leaders. And could you tell us a little bit about your work with that group and the kind of things you guys do?
Yeah, for sure. It's been really an awesome experience. So as a presidential leader, our job as students, is about 20 to 25 of us, is to essentially represent President Nellis from a student perspective, right? So talk about different initiatives that he has, talk about the student experience on campus. And so some of the coolest things I've gotten to do, I've been able to go to football games and speak to a lot of alumni and alumna to get their experience, to talk about what's the same on campus, what's different. I always ask them, like, where do they live? Where they live off campus, and being able to say, like, oh, like, tell me about when you will walk into class, and like what building was there and what building was different, what's been renovated ever since, and kind of getting to understand that. And then as well as I've been able to travel to some places. So just in the fall, I was lucky enough to go to New York City and be the student there to kind of represent President Nellis and represent the campus. So that has been awesome to see all these awesome people that are invested in Ohio University, and also be able to kind of talk about that experience of what it's like and how awesome it is to be a student today, and everything that's still the same that you can still remember, like walking down Court Street, walking through College Gateway, as well as everything that's changed, and talking about how my experience has been similar and different to those that have come before me. So that's been really awesome.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. I will say we're really fortunate to have you, not only as a student on campus, but as a presidential leader and a member of our student board of trustees, and really appreciate all the work that you do, in addition to all your classwork and your schoolwork that's required on the college side. So it's great to have you with us today, Justin. Thanks again for joining us and sharing those experiences. I will say, College Green, as someone who's not an alum, but someone who has been here 2.5 years, I mean, the memories that I even have with College Green in my short time here, my office is located in McGuffey, and, seeing those pictures, even seeing the picture in the snow, it really made me miss College Green and the bricks, and even when it's cold and there's no leaves on the trees, it's a special place. And I have a daughter who's going to be a junior this year in the honors tutorial college. She's a double major with journalism and economics, and having that experience, having a daughter on campus that is able to come, and I'll walk by her on College Green, and my wife, and we have 8-year-old twin girls. They'll come and we'll meet on College Green. We'll walk down Court Street and get something to eat during lunchtime, and it's just a really special place. One of my first memories is actually the Yell Like Hell pep rally. My first year, we walked from Peden over to College Green to watch the Marching 110, my wife and I, and that was it's an incredible place, and really a lot of great memories in a short time. I can't imagine those of you that have been associated with the university for 20, 30, 40 years, what that brings back. So really love talking about it, and grateful to hear everybody's stories with that. So Sandy, anything else that you wanted to add before we move on to the next part of our program after Justin's comment?
I'd like to add is something that Nick added, because Nick graduated 2 years ago, and he says that when he goes back to college, and it's touching on something that Justin said, that of all the places and all the things that change and progress and everything that stays the same, there's just a sense of sameness. So no matter what we live through, whether it's, what's happening today in the world, health-wise or region-wise or politically, we can always go back to the College Green, and we can count on it being there. So we're living through some new normals, but we have a good treasure in an old normal when we're in the center of the College Green.
Without a doubt. You're exactly right. Thank you. Thank you, Sandy, for sharing that. So with that, I would like to introduce the 21st president of Ohio University, Dr. Dwayne Nellis. Dr. Nellis, we will hand it off to you. Thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Nico. And again, thanks to Sandy and Justin, as well as yourself. And of course, to John Rogers, Jackie Weber, and Barb as well for all the work and helping to pull this together. And I agree. Ruthie and I fell in love with the College Green and fell in love with Ohio University when we first arrived on campus. There's nothing like it. I've been to hundreds of universities, not only in the United States, but across the world. And just seeing that video, I miss going into Cutler Hall every day with what's been going on here lately. And seeing that, it just gives me goosebumps almost to think about the beauty of that place. And it's been very special to me personally. My investiture, we started at Baker Center and proceeded with our regalia to the Templeton Blackburn Alumni Memorial Auditorium for the investiture ceremony, walking across the College Green, and I'll never forget that. And Dr. Ping was part of my investiture ceremony, bringing part of that history back as well. But also as president, I've had the opportunity, I try to get out at least once a week, sometimes more than once a week during the noon hour. I just go for a walk around College Green and greet people and talk to people, see how they're doing, how things are going for students as well as faculty and staff. And it's always just a wonderful place and a very special place. And so many of our alumni have shared their own personal stories of their experiences on College Green and how much it impacted their time at Ohio University. And I've appreciated those stories. I had the chance to talk to, as you know, President Alden passed away here recently, and there'll be a special memorial service coming up here the second week of August at Galbraith Chapel, actually, although it mainly telecast. But I had the chance to speak to one of his sons, and the son was reflecting back on the time of living at 29 Park Place, but also the experiences they had on College Green. And many of you know that Dr. Alden was president during the Vietnam War era, so there was a lot of unrest, but it was very impactful, the experiences people had at that time. But again, I know the time is short, so I'm going to turn it back to Nico. I think there's an opportunity too for some questions possibly, but there's nothing like College Green. And when we have the freshman convocation, we march from the convo up to the college green and go through the Alumni Gateway. And then at graduation, of course, there's the procession the other direction. But there's just nothing like it in our university. And I appreciate the opportunity to highlight that today. And thanks to everyone for being part of this special event. So Nico, I'll turn it back to you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Nellis. Thank you for spending some time with us today. We really appreciate it, as well as your thoughts on College Green. You know, it's really great if some of you can go through. I'm just looking through the chat. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the chat, and some great memories here and great stories that individuals are sharing. It's really wonderful to see, you know, the individuals that are highlighting professors and faculty members that have had an impact on their life, and really some great ones here. And I'll just point a couple of them out real quick. Connie Lawson Davis, who said she was there watching from the balcony of Howard Hall for Lyndon Johnson's visit. That's a great memory, I would imagine. Shara Glickman, I had my tour guide photo taken at the Sundial, so seeing it always makes me smile. Hannah Beckhold, I'd love nothing more than walking College Green as the leaves changed in the fall. I completely agree. It's one of the beautiful times there. Ron Teplinski shared his two favorite memories: 2012, seeing President Obama; 2016, meeting former President Clinton. And Dan S., apologize, I don't have a last name there, but every few years, a group of former grad students and I have a reunion in Athens to remember a very special professor, Dr. Ray E. Wagner. A number of years ago, we buried a small memento to him by the Sundial. So really some great memories. Thank you so much for sharing those with us, and continue to share those as they keep coming in. Angela Woodward, so many fond memories from my student years, but my favorite was 2 years ago when my Bobcat family came back to Athens for our annual and 20th reunion. Sarah Schneider, I love that the green is the center of our world at Ohio. That is the truth. It really is. Dustin Starkey performing with the Marching 110 on the steps of Old Baker behind Hillary Clinton. That must have been an incredible experience. So thank you everyone for sharing those. Really some wonderful stories and memories there, and continue to send those through, as we'd love to read them and keep a collection of the memories. So I would also ask, this is something that we're hoping to continue to do with this sense of place. If you have some ideas, some thoughts of other places on campus that you would like us to maybe highlight, please share those either in the chat or with John and Jackie, or through the email that you received registering for this. We'd really love to be able to keep offering this to folks as a quick, 30 to 45 minute break during your day. And we love seeing the participation. So thank you very much for that. So with that, I would like to again thank Dr. Sandy Sook, Justin Kelley, sorry, Justin, I was reading something else, Justin Kelley and Dr. Nellis for joining us today. It was really great having you as panelists. Thanks for taking the time and sharing your memories and your thoughts with us. This was a lot of fun. Thank you again, John, Jackie, and Barb for helping coordinate this. Megan and Colin for putting the video together, and really appreciate all the participants. We had more than 50 that joined us today, so I'm really grateful for you spending some time with us. With that, please be safe, please be smart. It's still a crazy time out there. We wish you nothing but the best as we all navigate this new world together, but our thoughts are with you, and thanks for everything you do for Ohio. Be safe, and we'll see everybody soon. Thanks so much.